Shalom, this is Yoshafat Oliver coming to you on the 3rd of May, 2020. It's EO. So I'm here today to talk about face masks. I want to preface with emphasizing yet again that it cannot be repeated enough that the government does not care about your health. They have no record of caring about your health, and they have we have every reason to be suspicious that they are doing things despite the fact that they harm our health. In fact, we have good reason to think that they want to harm our health. They allow pesticides in our food like glyphosate, which are toxic, which cause cancer. They put fluoride, which is a toxin, a neurotoxin, into the water supply, which lowers our IQ. They put carcinogens and other toxins into vaccines and give them to little children, causing them to become autistic and to develop many other health problems for life. And they spray chemicals and heavy metals on us in chemtrails planes. They've done all kinds of experiments on people. The CIA has done without the permission of the people, or asking them permission but not disclosing the full nature and danger involved in the experiments. And so therefore, we must be extremely suspicious whenever the government tells us that we should be doing something for the sake of our health. Anything they say is not to be relied upon. If anything, you can assume that the opposite is the case. So with that preface, we are now being told that we need to wear face masks for the sake of our health. Well, what is going on here? Let's back up to the general understanding of what is going on during the COVID-19 era. As I've explained, this is a false flag operation. It's a staged event. It's a false flag in the sense that there's this implication that China perpetrated this on the world, when in reality, this was planned, and China is just the patsy, the one to blame it on. But in reality, all these world governments have collaborated, yes, conspired to inflict this event upon we the people. This is a mass mind control operation. This is psychological warfare to control our minds, to enslave us, and to usher in a whole new era of totalitarian one world government, new world order, police state. That is their nefarious agenda behind this COVID-19 event. So, why do they want us to wear masks? Well, first, you could say, well, nothing wrong with wearing a mask. What do I have to lose? And certainly people feel better in a way they're wearing a mask because they feel as if it protects them, even if it may not protect them. At least has a placebo effect. But no, there are harms to wearing a mask. Even if you don't wear a mask, you see other people wearing masks. That has an effect on you. many doctors, not doctors controlled by the government, have come out with statements expressing that masks are not effective in protecting people from a virus. Dr. Parancevich of Ohio infection prevention specialist at University of Iowa's College of Medicine. So he said that the average healthy person does not need to have a mask, and they shouldn't be wearing masks. There's no evidence that wearing masks on healthy people will protect them. They wear them incorrectly, and they can increase the risk of infection because they're touching their face more often. And also a Newsmax article of March 31st reported that the Surgeon General, Jerome Adams, advised against healthy people wearing masks, saying that improper wearing of one actually increases the risks. And at that time, the WHO and the CDC were saying they do not recommend wearing face masks. Well, they changed their mind. I don't know. Did the science change in the interim? But in any case, the Surgeon General said that not only are masks not helpful, but they are harmful. They increase the risk. And this is all especially true considering that the reality is that COVID-19 is not any more deadly than the flu. The only mask that would truly protect you, if there was a strong reason for protection, is the N95, but that's one that's really unsafe to wear for long periods of time, and it's very suffocating. And anyway, we've been told that regular civilians shouldn't wear that because it should be reserved for those in healthcare. Now, I want to read a quote from Dr. Judy Mikovits. She's been a courageous voice over this whole period, and indeed for her whole life. But she says as follows: "The masks in stores and on walks outside and while driving in your car is mind-blowing to me. Do you not know how unhealthy it is to keep inhaling your carbon dioxide and restricting proper oxygen flow? I honestly cannot believe how non-logical we have become. We as a society seem to just listen to perceived authority without question. I don't see a whole lot of critical thought happening here. Sorry to say. Why do I opt not to wear a mask? Well, let me break it down for you. The body requires ample amount of oxygen for optimal immune health, especially during a so-called pandemic. Proper oxygenation of your cells and blood is essential for the body to function as it needs to in order to fight off any illness. Masks will hamper oxygen intake. Unless you're working in a hospital setting, it is not necessary. But go ahead and hold on to your security blanket if it makes you feel better. I don't listen to the government when it tries to instruct me on how to maintain health, nor do I trust their stats, which we know are based on unconfirmed numbers. You want to be healthy? Then make sure to apply it to all aspects of your life. Stop smoking, change your diet, stop consuming alcohol, turn off your Wi-Fi and cell phone, stop getting injected with neurotoxins, stop taking toxic medications, stop using so many chemicals in your everyday life, and practice proper hygiene. Most importantly, go outside and breathe deeply, get some sun, drink plenty of filtered water, sleep well, and learn to listen to your body. Dr. Judy Mikovits is a PhD biochemist, cellular and molecular biologist, and virologist. So, so not only is wearing a mask not helpful, but it's harmful. If there is a need for a mask, it's for those who are already sick. You quarantine the sick. That is logic to healthy. Healthy people need for a mask. They haven't been infected. And especially since um, people's immune system needs to be able to fight back against this disease and in that way develop immunity. I mean, that's the whole concept of the vaccine, at least so we're told, that through getting the vaccine, our body learns to protect itself. It develops antibodies to protect itself from the illness. And then that way it's protected for the future. And we're told that a coronavirus COVID-19 vaccine is possible and it's in the works and it will certainly come out, in fact. Well, then by the same token, if you're a healthy person, reasonably healthy person, you are much better off getting the COVID-19, according to that narrative, and then developing an immunity from it through your immune system. And that way, the society can reach a state of herd immunity, and then we'll be protected in the future from this virus recurring. Whereas masks contradict herd immunity because it doesn't allow the virus to spread and for people to become immune through contracting the disease and overcoming it. And the fact is that only those over 60 have a serious likelihood of dying if they catch the disease. Anything else you see is just complete lies, complete propaganda. Now, another point is that masks that are not professional masks, cloth or paper ones, can only be used once because they gather germs in them. The paper ones certainly have to be discarded, and the cloth ones have to be sterilized somehow. So if you keep wearing the same mask every day, you're exposing yourself to all kinds of germs, and that's certainly unsafe. So whether the mask is effective, the mask is not really effective in fighting against the disease. Only the N95 ones would truly protect the person from the tiny particles that supposedly are all over the place. Even assuming that that would be so, that these particles are all over the place and we're at great risk of those particles, breathing in one of those particles and that making us sick. The only way to truly protect oneself from that is through these far more heavy-duty masks. And again, that's not what is even being recommended for the public to wear. So the masks are not effective for what we're told they're supposed to accomplish. And that was the original reason why we were told not to bother wearing them, because they're anyway not effective. And another point is that when we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. But when we are wearing a mask, then that carbon dioxide that we breathe out, we rebreathe. We breathe it back in. So that waste matter is reabsorbed into the body, and that's very unhealthy. So there's certainly no benefit for us healthy people to wear masks. Only for those who are sick is there a logic to this. Now, let's get on to a topic that I think is more important, even more important than the physical health inability of the mask to help, and in fact its harmfulness, which is the psychological effects of wearing a mask. Like I said before, the whole COVID-19 event is a staged psychological warfare operation for mass mind control. And therefore, whenever the officials tell us to do something, the first question on our minds should be, what is their hidden agenda? How do they want to control us through mandating and shaming us into a certain behavior, whether it's staying home, whether it's distancing ourselves from other people? What is their psychological warfare hidden motive behind this directive? So when it comes to face masks, it seems to me that the goal is to wear people down psychologically. And when you wear a face mask, it degrades you, it dehumanizes you. We need to see people's facial expressions, and we need to be seen. We need our own facial expressions to be seen by others. When these facial expressions are hidden, we lose a part of our humanity, our individuality. We don't see people, we see masks. So we objectify those people we see, and we ourselves are objectified by those who see us. We feel emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually distanced from others, and they from us. So it really undermines and destroys the sense of community and shared, group identification that is necessary for society. It's turning us into these faceless, subhuman creatures, and it separates us from one another. And this is their goal. The goal of the elites is divide and conquer. United we stand, divided we fall. They want to divide us. That's the purpose of stay home. That's the purpose of social distancing. And that's the purpose of face masks. We give up our bodily autonomy. It's not, you could say that seatbelts, well, we're being forced to do something, but that's different, because we're not like dehumanizing ourselves by wearing seatbelts, and we're not suffocating ourselves physically by wearing seatbelts in any way. So we are really compromising our functioning ability by wearing these masks. It affects our breathing, it affects our health. And so therefore, by wearing the masks, we become slaves. The masks mark us as slaves to the elites. Indeed, many times in the past, slaves were forced to wear masks as a sign of their status as slaves, to degrade them. Being forced to wear anything for the sake of degradation is, that's a kind of enslavement. Certainly comes to mind how Jews were forced to wear yellow stars to degrade them, to mark them as a special group to be treated as subhuman. Well, the elites want everyone to be treated this way. They view all the people of the world, not in their little club, as cattle, as subhuman, and therefore they want to mark us by degrading us. And the first step of this was, at least in terms of our bodies, is the mask, and then it will come to the vaccines and the microchip. They want absolute power. They want mass depopulation, and the mask, the submission to the mask, is just a precursor to that. So therefore, what does the mask do? It initiates you into the COVID-19 death and disease cult. That's its purpose. Also, psychologically, when you wear the mask, it affects your mind. So you think that the disease is real, even if you had your doubts. Well, not the disease, the classification of pandemic is real. You may have had your doubts before about just, the numbers don't seem to be there to support the claim that it's a pandemic, that everyone is in such grave danger. And also you might doubt the effectiveness of the mask. But once you're told to wear a mask and you wear a mask, so you start to believe those who told you to wear a mask. And you feel proud. You're doing your small part for the greater good. But since we need to breathe freely, that's a basic physical need we have. So wearing the mask is extremely inconvenient. It's burdensome, and it's painful. The longer you wear it, the more you suffer. So you're suffering. On the other hand, you're starting to believe that you're making a great noble sacrifice for the greater good, and you're doing your part to save lives, and you're proud to be able to do that. So you believe the story, and once you believe the story, you become filled with fear, because if there's a plague going on, well, it affects the person. He's afraid that he might die. He might unintentionally cause someone else to die. And every moment he wears the masks and he sees others around him wearing the mask, this fear-based mind control is reinforced. It's a constant sinking into ever greater fear and panic, specifically through this tool of the elites of convincing us to wear masks. And so this puts the person further and further into this emotional, primitive, survival state of operating. You view others who choose not to wear a mask as irresponsible, insensitive, and not caring about the fact, what now seems to you to be a blatant fact, that they are putting others in harm's way, and essentially they're murderers. So you view them with fear, with hostility, with anger. You're filled with rage. You're either filled with fear that you might die or cause other people to die, or that there'll be, a mass plague all around you, or you're filled with rage and anger at those around you who are not conforming and who are daring to go bareface. And you want them punished, because these people, they are such scum of the earth. How dare they endanger other people? These are attempted murderers. You want them tried and convicted for their crimes. And so they make you afraid and they make you angry, but also on a deeper level, they make that person afraid that maybe he's been sold a phony narrative. Maybe he's been had. So that's also very scary, and that also makes him all the more hostile towards those who choose not to wear masks. And so this is a constant feeling all day, every day, that he's outside of his house. He is in this intense, going through these intense negative emotions of fear and anger towards others. And so we were told that the purpose of the mask is to enable us to return to normal functioning, to get our old lives back, albeit with the new normal of the masks. But no, there is no normalcy in wearing masks. Masks create a whole new reality, a whole new society that divides between the COVID-19 believers, or at least the COVID-19 conformists, those who have chosen to conform with the COVID-19 death cult, and the skeptics who talk about freedom and point out the flaws in the official statistics and the flaws in the measures that are taken. And so we've turned into a whole new society, and this is specifically created, or it's vastly more dramatically more emphasized through the face masks. You have the zealots, the COVID-19 zealots on the one hand, ready to call the police on anyone who dares not to social distance and who dares not to wear a face mask. That's certainly what we're coming to. They're ready to snitch and inform on anyone who doesn't follow the rules, because they're endangering lives, and they're just such reckless low lives by daring not to obey every single order of the Ministry of Health or the public health, whatever it's called in your country. So this polarizes us, this divides us, and when we're divided, the elites are able to seize control all the more easily. And also, the wearing the mask has the effect so that once you wear the mask, so you've given up yet more of your rights. First, you gave up your rights by not leaving your house, and then by obeying social distancing. So slowly but surely, you're giving up more and more of your rights. So this next freedom is taken away from you, the freedom to breathe freely and for your facial expressions to be seen by others, which we never quite thought of that as a right, but now we need to start thinking of it like that. We have bare-face rights, which is related to bodily autonomy. So now that you've given up that right too, that makes you all the more weak and ready to submit to a vaccine that will certainly be toxic, and a microchip that will track you and control your every movement, and even control your mind, your mind's functioning, with very nefarious, sophisticated technology that's beyond the imagination of anyone who hasn't investigated that topic. So we need to resist, we need to speak out against face masks. At every point we need to dissent, because they're looking to see how will people respond to these deprivations of their freedom. Will they Will they protest? How much of a protest will they put up? Will it be a protest worthy of the name, or will it be a half-hearted protest? Like, do they really have anything to fear in going full steam ahead with their wicked plans? That's what they're trying to assess when they see our reaction. So we all need to do whatever is in our power to dissent, to share with others what we know about how this is a hoax, about how the statistics have been padded. We're getting fake news of massive numbers of deaths, which are really just a result of twisting statistics. We can't allow ourselves to be marked as a member of the coronavirus disease death cult. Will we, the elites want to see, will we obey? Will we care about our freedom and our future as a society, to want prosperity and the chance to live a productive life without constant government intervention and surveillance and mass depopulation, which is mass genocide, democide? Or will we just submit, roll over, and obey? That's what they're looking to see. That will decide how they make their next move. So, practically speaking, I'm not advocating that anyone get a fine. That's not going to help anyone. But at least wear the mask as little as possible. Avoid a fine. Wear something as loose as possible, like a bandana. Hold it below your nose if you can. If you can, hold it below your mouth, and then just pull it up when you feel it's necessary to do so. Keep it as loose as possible, and whenever you can, flout it. Don't wear the mask in whatever scenario you believe you can get away with it and not suffer a fine. And don't. Like, for example, I think I'm going to be going on a plane soon. I intend to sit in the bathroom, for more time than usual, let's say, so that I don't have to be subjected to wearing the mask. Whatever it is in that situation, minimize the amount of time that you are forced to wear the mask. Try to find other options, ways to get out of wearing the mask, and constantly point out that the mask is ineffective, harmful, and a tool of mass mind control. Okay. Comment: my facial burqa that I must wear if I need to buy food is a joke as far as preventing infection. It is really good at preventing normal respiration or smiling at people or speaking or feeling free. Yeah. Another comment: when I was in a hospital setting, we only wore masks in the isolation rooms or the OR, not all day long, right? Even healthcare professionals don't wear masks all day long. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for listening. God bless. We should be saved from the evil designs of these elites.